Hey, John with padprinters.com. Just want to go through real quickly and show you how pad printing works. These are Micro 90 accessories, so I'm going to explain how the Micro 90 works. But every pad printing cycle is the same. Everything happens the same regardless of what size machine you're using, really, how fast you're printing. The physical and chemical things that have to take place are the same in every pad printing cycle. It's just a difference of speed and how the mechanisms move. So basics of it are, you have your cliche plate and your image is etched into the surface here. This image is only about 1/1000th of an inch deep, or 25 microns. For comparison, a human hair is about 4 microns thick, so you have a cliche that's only about the depth of maybe a couple hairs. So when the ink cup is in the home position here, it's in the front of the cliche, the ink is flooding the image. And when you initiate a cycle, what happens is either the cliche moves, as in the case of the Micro 90, or on the logic up 1 through 8, what happens is the plate's static and the cups move back and forth. In either case, what happens is, as the cup moves or the cliche moves, it doctors or cleans the surface of the plate so that the image is just left here with ink in it. As soon as that ink is exposed to the air, it starts to evaporate solvent. As it does so, it becomes tacky on the surface, or the surface tension of the ink is increased. What happens then is the transfer pad travels down onto the surface of the plate. As it's compressing onto the surface of the plate, its job is to roll out and displace air, so that as it compresses, it's displacing air. You don't get any bubbles between the surface of the pad and the ink. And then it lifts off, taking the ink with it. Now, once the ink is on the outside, on the pad, the outside surface of that ink film evaporates solvent, and it becomes sticky. So what you're doing, essentially, to make it a simple explanation, is you're creating a two-sided decal on the surface of your pad and transferring it onto the surface of the part. Now, it's when the pad has picked the ink up and lifted it away from the cliche that the most important part of the cycle takes place, because that is where you have to have enough time to get the ink to be cohesive. In other words, to lose enough solvent so that when you transfer onto the surface of the part, whatever that is, the ink wants to leave the pad in order to stick on the part. So sometimes, as you'll see in the training guide, it's necessary to either increase the amount of time between when you're picking up from the plate and when you're transferring to the part, or if you can't adjust time to make it longer, to make the ink stickier or more cohesive, we also can use air blowers like what you see here. We sell these guys at Innovative with a little magnet in the back. You plug this into clean, dry shop air, low pressure. You don't need very much pressure at all. It has a little adjustment knob here. And when you're using these, if you're having trouble getting all the ink off the pad, you can use this, one, to blow on the part, especially if you're doing multiple color prints, say a 3 or 4 colors. You'd want to have these so that when the part's traveling from the first to second to third and fourth color, it's blowing on the first, second, and third prints, so subsequent prints stick better. Or when you're just doing one color, you might want to have it so that when the pad picks up from the plate and it's at its full vertical height, you have air directed right at the point to help dry the ink a little bit better before it transfers onto the part. That's the basics. Thanks.